Okay, here's the second example. Okay, I changed my syntax here. Me. Here's what I want you to do for you. I actually said I want to do something for you. It's a fairy tale Romeo Juliet castle. This is Taylor Swift. Oh, my first model. That's what she said when I showed her my model. And I knew I'd got the contract because it was her first model. I was the last of 12 to present to her. And everybody else had done CAD drawings. You'll never win with a CAD drawing if I'm there. So I showed her a doll's house style model. Excuse me. Okay, can I have red curtains? Sure, of course you can. You always say yes. You never say no, ever. Even if you don't want the job, don't say no. Just double your price, quadruple it. Sometimes it backfires and you get a lot of money and you have to live with it. Never. But never say no. You can do everything. If you're not sure, look studious. I'm going to have to think about that. You know, you're play acting. They're actors, they're professional performers, they are suckers for your performance. Keep this in mind all the time. These are the kind of odd tricks of the trade, but you will win jobs like this. Either that or I've been damn lucky, but I think it's a lot to do with, I use showmanship right back at them. Okay, where are we? Oh, can I have red curtains? Yes, of course you can. I'm glad I came prepared because I said I'm going to do this for you. So let's start right to the red curtains. I just cut these out of a kid's scrapbook, you know, and I built the stage and the traditional Johnny stage here, which is kind of pretty much everybody else's stage now. There's the ego riser with the little egress. These were going to be projection screens. The model, the big thrust, they loved the thrust. In fact, when they had the first day, Mom, her mother, and Taylor, while they were rummaging around, the first thing they decided was, oh, this has got to be much wider. So instead of being, I think that's 16 foot, it became 32 increments of 4 and 8. So that was easy. Yeah, that's the curtains. This is how it's going to look. Oh, yeah, so my model, and that's actually that's the final proof for the digital print. This is a JPEG that is actually full size. It's like all right, somebody out there is going to tell me what 972 inches are, but it's big. It was about 108 feet by, I think it was 36 feet tall, but the picture stopped here. This was an Austrian. It raised from the bottom upwards and it gathered up. And that was the opening. That's what you walked in to see. It also, the show was split into 3 acts. Act 2, guess what? She's out there on the B stage by this is a real country thing. I think it's catching on everywhere. But she went and played a little acoustic set out in the front, and the curtain came down. These are actually side screen videos, and we put things like, that's actually a projection frame projected with a picture inside. It matches all our gold filigree in this. And this is the beginning of the 3rd act, and it's a minuet, and all the dancers, 6 dancers, came out in period costume, a lot of costumes in this show. And then they did all their little dance, and then this revealed, and it went up, but I don't think I'm actually going to the reveal. No, it's just very interesting. So this is a huge digital print, and there's the curve. It wrapped on round because we're in an arena, and it went 180 degrees. And that was pretty good. That little pucker there, that always annoys me. That's the problem with drapes. Here's the advice about drapes. Am I still on? Yeah, I am. Whatever you do at the top is what you get all the way down to the bottom. And whatever you do in the morning, you're going to live with for the rest of the day and night, including that pucker. So if you're clever about it, you pay attention to what they're doing up the top there. That pucker is there is because I can follow it. Look, right there. There's a little gathering. It wasn't quite pulled out. And it's best to be, drapes people know this, stagehands don't. So supervise that moment because, as I say, what you do at the top is everything to the bottom. So, and there's a man in here who can bear witness to this, can't you? That is because you weren't there or you didn't have a carpenter or whoever. So the model itself, This is, I knew this is the way they were going because they'd already sent everybody this dreadful little cartoon. Actually, it was a good cartoon, but it was a Gothic tower, which is kind of like stone single tower with castellations, and it was a fortress, kind of medieval. There was nothing romantic about the medieval times. They called it the Dark Ages for a good reason. This is Renaissance. This is when people started becoming fashionable and artistic and creative again after the Romans, many years before. So instead of one tower, I decided I'm going to use multiple towers. I went, again, research architecture. This is modeled, my steering model was a city in France called Carcassonne. It's the most intact late medieval city. It's all these towers and conical roofs. Here's my eccentricity. I'm going to put the drummer up here, one of my favorite tricks. I'm going to have doors here, which never actually happened in this. But the drummer is up here, perfect. Lots of staircases, because staircases produce a kind of an entrance. And when you're wearing big gowns, staircases just love big gowns. Difficult, but for the performer. So this is just a cylinder. It's actually 12 foot in diameter. There's a 8-foot square platform on a lift, in an elevator in the middle. That became the major entrance. Round the corner here, there's a secret entrance. Don't believe everything in models. This is not how it ended up. This was all suggestion. These screens disappeared. There was a day when it was a technical thing. They just couldn't get it right. And in the end, I just said, you know what? Forget it. We'll just put ordinary screens up in those positions, and life got easy, and nobody noticed. So sometimes you have to own up. I do know people who have conniptions and fits if they didn't get what they designed. Design isn't precious. It might be if you're the manager and you've got one idea. One idea is precious, and you've got to manage that. And you might have 99 ideas, but you as a designer know that only 1 or 2 of them are really going to get there, and that's going to take a lot of manipulation. So there's the problem with having, going back to the initial meeting, having others in the room. Try and keep it down to as minimal. Because you want your ideas to take precedence. As soon as the manager says, oh, and I want iron, oh, that was a nightmare, actually. I wish I'd, anyway, that's another story. So this is all model, and this was a big model, so I think I did this in 1/4 inch scale as well. The stairs are just nothing but foam core. Door, the riser with the big riser. This is Transform It. This is actually cut from the CAD drawing that you can download from their website. This item is called Ice Flow, half ice flow. There's another one that's even bigger. But when that's set out to, you can make it about 110 feet wide. It's only 16 feet tall, but we had it on Traveler track, and they just used to glide on and off. A purchased item, really, really simple, really affordable too. And I didn't have to do any work creating those shapes because they sent me a CAD, I printed it on cardboard, I cut them out. So this is the continuation of all the model variations. And here's the corner of my studio. What a mess. But this is a very creative space, and this is how I simply took the photographs. Later I put a video projector up there, to light the model, so I could demonstrate how white material would take projection. This was not the original idea. This was a step backwards, because originally I wanted to do all the structure, except for the towers themselves, which will always be fabric, because they were only for one song. That was the signature piece. But I wanted to do everything in tiles, video tiles, little 4-inch square video tiles, because they were planning to do some things in daylight, and video tiles are a light source and a totally different kettle of fish, much easier to deal with because when they're not switched on, they're black. Anyway, let me suggest you don't work for parental management. That's all I can say about how this came about. So, yeah, her father works for Merrill Lynch, so he knows all about money, yes, and not how to spend it. So he said, no, that's too expensive. So we went to projection. Eventually we did tiles. But I just ran my little projector there. Oh, I shouldn't use the mouse. And I just put on, just things to show how it works. I mean, really, this is a fruitless exercise in design, because it was just to show, because they wanted. Once you've got a client, you've got to keep feeding them stuff. So a little hand sketch. This is the towers. We're going to digital now. Instead of having white towers, we're going to print them because they finally realized that tiles are much better than projection. That was a great day. So this is how I do it. First you sketch it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Then you sort of really rough it out. And this is all about choice. And then you mock it. These are just cardboard tubes. This is the same thing, but all I've done is vary the color from sandstone to with ivy, without ivy, flat details of windows, and enlargement of the window, because the keystone actually has that little TS signature in it. Those are nobody noticed that stuff except when you show it to them and they, oh wow, look, my initials. Chance psychology works really well when you're dealing with it. So this is the company Transform It yet again. This is custom built. And this is the tower. It's the smallest tower. Always build one first. Don't let them do the whole run in one go, which is what they all want to do. Build the first one, and then you can do the run. So this is the smallest tower because it's a cheaper proof. This is the detail of, this is the cone, the top. It's made out of some kind of polymer plastic. And you can see that's it. It's about so big. And it's all about these clips, basically. All of this broke down into tiny little tubes, flat bags of material, because it all went on aeroplanes. And then when it was ashore, it would never get deconstructed. It just walked straight into the truck. Everything was big enough to fit a truck, just. And that's the woman who actually owns the company. Here's a digital print of the roof. This will be the tiles, because we're now going away from that white look. We're going to this look. The tiles, that was how it was laid out. And the workshop. This is another welding shop. Actually, if I go back, you see the chalk marks on the floor? That's how they lay things out. They just chalk the floor. That's the template. You know, you'll get used to this. These are welders. This is the circular thing. In the middle here, you can start seeing, and it's stock. It's theirs, not ours. It's the elevator. It's a chain drive. It's pretty straightforward. There's the actual platform. We brought up a grand piano, oil drums, drum kit, a little two-seat sitting room, a library, desks, chairs. Different scenes came up and down. Oh, people. It was endless. It went up and down. I actually only thought it'd be used once or twice. But there it is. And that's the platform. And we had to build a platform off of that at the same height because that was the loading ramp. And that was all hidden by the main structure. I'll skip through this because this is a lot of work, an awful lot of work. And here they are applying the white Marley dance floor. White is another. That's also high gloss, real high gain. So I got a lot of bounce. But once we went away from white material for projection, and I went back to tiles, the bounce from follow spots ceased to exist. Another better reason. Wow, I took a lot of these photographs. So here's one of the finished curves. And they were all, rehearsals. This is an old iron factory. Not a great place to rehearse. But the first day, you'll put all the rigging up. And a lot of people standing around with their arms folded. I'm the chairman of that board. And looking up, they always look up. And this is LED strip wall. It's 40 millimeter. It's really vague. It's a long way in the background. The whole thing was a background look. Here are the octagon trusses that I tend to favor, but we ended up dropping them. I changed them to straight line, the finger straight line truss. And that was the model. Oh, opening act. Oh, halfway through all this, the opening act. Oh, we need to have something for them. So this was in my stockpile. It was an Art Deco set. And I then did this. This is, again, the full-size JPEG. It's a print, Kelly Pickler. And that kind of looks like brushed metal. It's really beautiful Art Deco. I'm very fond of this. I wish I'd never gave it to them. Yeah, anyway. And that's it in use. Guess what? Pucker. See? There's the point right there. So if you're going to use materials, pay a lot of attention to how they're hung. You don't have to hang them. Just be there and use your fingers. Point, tell, be kind, say please and thank you a lot. Do you know the difference between shouting and calling out? Nobody does. Okay. Shouting winds everybody up on stage. Hey, up a bit, down a bit. It's terrible. It really does. Everybody gets angst about it because there's this one guy, you, shouting at the lighting guy up there, focusing lights. The difference between shouting and calling out is actually no difference at all, except you add, good job, well done, thank you, you appreciate, and that changes the whole mood. Okay, child psychology at work again. And I've done that for many, many years. I stopped being an asshole by just adding please and thank you. So here, this is one of the two opening acts, and there's the backdrop, and that was to hide our big red curtain. So, oh, that was something, anyway. Yeah, content, expensive stuff. Hang on, it's stuck. Don't do this to me. Okay. Meanwhile, back in rehearsals, the first song is about cheerleaders, so we get the local high school cheerleaders. There's a long story to this. Apparently, Miss Swift didn't have great time with her high school cheerleaders. She was the gawky kind, and the cheerleaders were jock kind. And anyway, she had a sweet revenge. She got her local high school, to provide us with their cheerleader team so we could video shoot them on a green screen. Yeah. I learned a lot about it. And this is the result. This is the opening. She's just come up on the elevator in her band gear, and the band are all dressed in the band gear. And then on these screens here, actually at the same size as the dancers, are more cheerleaders. And they're doing all these jumps and things. And on the back is they only needed a brass pole, and they wouldn't have been cheerleaders. It was really, yeah, that was another kind of fish. Yeah. So anyway, that was how it worked. And that was just the opening act. Now this is all projection. This time, this is the early part of the show, early tour, before they changed to LED panels. It was a big deal actually doing that. We had 18K projectors on a truss, not far out front. The alignment was a real number, because not only did they have to align, but all the images had to merge. There was a lot of software. There was another reason why I'm not very fond of projectors. They're convenient, they're useful, but consider they can be really limiting. But they're affordable. Rear projection is another thing. I like rear projection. And this is what we did. Remember I was telling you about cardboard cutout tubes as stand-ins? These are, I think these are 18-inch diameter tubes. They come usually 14-foot length. A contractor would sink them in the ground, put in his reinforcement bar, and then pour concrete in. And eventually the cardboard tube just rots away, and then you get a nice concrete column. They're really nice in clusters. I've cut these off at about 60-degree angle. You can put a light inside and they light up on there, and then you put a light outside and they light up. They look nice. They really do work well. Yeah, cheap and affordable. And they're quite transportable. They're a little on the heavy side, but if you're clever, they come every half inch, so you can slide one inside another, and then they get really heavy. But then you can pick them up on the fork of one forklift truck and just carry them into the truck. And they are instantly repairable because you can find the stuff everywhere. So there's that big, oh yeah. So originally they had these drum kits. Two girls used to beat the hell out of these two trash cans. Oh, that was going to go. That looked so punny. So I've got these 55-gallon oil drums, and this is actually the treatment that makes it look rusty is first. It's kind of like, and anyway, that's how it worked. So it was good girl versus evil girl, and good girl always won. But they're mic'd up. They're actually the real live things, little tom-toms, and they have the XLRs in there. They were really great. It sounded really fabulous. We had a Jamaican gentleman come and beat the heck out of the skin size because he made, the steel drums for calypso music. He tuned our drums. And he cost nothing. He was just happy to do it. It's wow. Yeah, okay. So in the middle of all this, we need a green room. A green room. Most people just have a quick meet and greet in the backstage of an arena, and it kind of looks like this. This is a sort of a bay where they store chairs like this. No, we've got to have a green room. So we choose the material. We're going to do it all on pipe and drape, which is kind of affordable. And again, the gravity thing, you're always going to have a floor. You're always going to have weight. So you put this together, and this is the green room. The difference between most pipe and drape is this has a ceiling. That completely enclosed it. And this here is a 42-inch concrete forming tube painted with, well, actually, with all memorabilia kind of photographs stuck all over it. The furniture cost $42,000. Ta-da. And the tent itself cost $21,000. Yeah, but it was great. 200 people got in there, and it was like, wow, this is like Aladdin's cave. Even I was impressed. It was really cool. And the band used to hang out during the day and play ping pong and watch TV. And that's actually what it looks like on the outside. Total illusion, eh? I like that. And finally, I did do a kind of CAD drawing, mostly for this little lecture. And this, I'm very, very pleased with. This is a high gloss floor. This is what I'm telling you about. Because we did have a lot of image magnification, everything was iMag. We also had, this is projection. And there's an irony to this picture I can share with you. This is a real stained glass window in Normandy in France, and this is Saint Joan of Arc. She didn't have much fun with boyfriends either. That was my private joke to myself, and I just always saw that and I thought, this is so good. Because her whole theme was, you know, boys always screw her up. You know, say, I'll write a song about you. Most of her songs are about, you know, ex-boyfriends. That's what happens when you write songs for 15-year-olds. So here's the same thing. These are all video tiles. The ivy in this sequence is actually growing. These are the original towers. We hadn't yet put the skin on. This is that big old fairy tale castle in Bavaria.
Were you able to rent those tiles, or were those purchased?
I'm sorry?
Were you able to rent the video tiles, or were they all purchased?
Oh, no, they were rented from one of many video companies. The one I prefer is CT Touring. They're here. They're Nashville. They're Dubai. They're everywhere. They're a big company. And Touring is actually a small sub-company of the major company. But, you know, most video companies are really, really, really reliable. It's down to the people that make it work. And those people are not only the technicians, but they end up being the cameramen as well. The video compiler is probably the most important person in my life when it comes to video. I do edit myself because I taught myself once because I had an editor that was totally useless. Anyway, that's kind of the whole rig on. There's not that much lighting, actually. There's not that much. Well, all right, there's a lot, but not that much. This is a video tile that came in only for the support band, because when we went to video tiles, we went completely to video tiles. Okay, click. And here we have the butterfly. Now this is all masked. Again, this is projection. Again, this is why video is so difficult. This is all masked, so that's one unit, one set of projectors. This is another set of projectors, and this is the video, low-res video wall. But the butterfly flew all the way through everything, and that was quite a number, getting all that masked and calibrated. All the ivy, that was all zooming forwards. Yeah, okay, here's video tiles. This is really why I like video tiles, because they go black when you don't switch them on. This is 6mm, this is 4mm. All the stairs, it's all 4mm. The actual step tread itself is mirror, because you don't want to step on video tiles, but the mirror would reflect what was on the rise. So the people up in the high altitudes, and always, especially with arenas, you're going to be looking, 2/3 of the audience is looking down, so the floor is quite important. Bar metal grating across the front. Two reasons for that. She had all the monitors under there, but also she had this rain curtain that closed the show with, and she sang in the rain, it's pouring, and it was kind of an interesting thing. It squirted water like a printer jet. It was kind of HP technology, but you'd have dolphins cascading down in the water. Yeah, you had negative images, yeah. I've seen that in supermarkets before. Anyway, that's why I like video tiles. It's black. In the middle of all this, just to throw you off curve, I was asked to design a television studio for this program Upside, only in San Francisco. They only had good news. That was a Comcast thing. And there it is. And that was just, I did that in the afternoon, and there it is. Yeah, they just had good news. It never worked. I mean, and then did a few things. This is Kenny Evans. Now we're getting into video. This is lit for television. It's actually a nightclub in Washington. And everybody has a key light. You see how they're all evenly lit. He's the principal. He's obvious. He moves. The others don't. This is a painted back wall. It was a supper club, actually. It was a really good place. We were there for 2 nights. Did I go back to Taylor Swift? No, I didn't. That's a pause. Okay. I've got one more demonstration of that. Sorry?
Lunch is ready. So.
Oh, perfect. Lunch is ready. Ready? And then I've got one more to show you, and that's the Thompson twins from 1980, early 80s. And this is really affordable. And the real special thing about this, and I'm not going to show you yet, is it doesn't use truss at all. And that makes it affordable for all of you. And these are tricks you can take with you. All right, thank you for a very good morning. Thank you. No, I can't.